Hey, quick question. Did you actually feel grateful this year? Or did you maybe just play the part?
Oh, you mean like when I said I was grateful for family and mashed potatoes, but I was actually wondering why Aunt Carol brought up politics again?
Exactly. It's like there's this weird moment right after Thanksgiving where everything's supposed to feel warm and fuzzy, but sometimes it's kind of like, wait, that was it?
Yeah, I get it. Like, we dressed real nice, got all ready. We have on our smiles and our stretchy pants, and there's some pie. And, somehow I still woke up Friday like I forgot to do something like really meaningful.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what we're going to dig in today. Because what if that fog or that funk or just that flat feeling, what if it's not failure, but it's a signal?
All right, let's do it.
Welcome to the Nature of Everything podcast with Bo and Clint, where we deep dive into the world of personal development through coin. Confirm it, own it, be intentional, and change the nature of everything.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nature of Everything. Bo here and Clint's with me as always. And look, if this is your first time, thanks for jumping in right after turkey season. You've got good timing.
And if you've been around with us for a little while, hey, we're glad you survived the stuffing and the small talk and the rough talk and politics and everything else. Hope you made it out with minimal emotional damage.
All right, so today's episode is less about the meal and more about the aftertaste. You know that weird flat feeling that sometimes shows up once the dishes are done, the relatives are gone, and all you're left with is that sort of feeling like, was that enough? Or some kind of silence.
Yeah, like post Thanksgiving isn't always about fullness necessarily. I mean, sometimes it's about that low level emptiness we don't really talk about. And that's what we're digging into today. Like you said, why gratitude doesn't always land and how that doesn't make you a jerk. It just makes you honest.
And I think part of what we're really talking about is that gap, the one between how you're supposed to feel, but then how you actually feel. Like you're sitting in a room full of people, there's food, there's comfort, there's tradition, and yet maybe inside, maybe you're checked out, numb, maybe you're even lonely.
And we try to override that with phrases like, just be grateful or look how blessed you are, which I mean, sure, those are good reminders, but they can also become weapons. And if you use them to silence your actual feelings, then you're turning those weapons on yourself.
And look, gratitude shouldn't feel like a muzzle. It should feel like a mirror. And sometimes that mirror shows you something that you didn't want to see.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you're feeling that fog, that numbness that Bo mentioned, maybe even a little resentment, it doesn't mean that you failed at gratitude. It means there's probably something under the surface and it wants to be seen as well.
Yeah, like maybe you were overperforming, trying to make everything perfect, managing the meal and the moods and the expectations. Maybe you weren't being present because you were too busy being responsible for everybody else's experience.
Or maybe you showed up with some unmet needs, some emotional stuff that got put on a shelf because maybe there just wasn't room at the table for it. And now that's coming back around and it's knocking on the door.
And this is where the own it part of coin matters. Not to blame yourself, but to actually say, okay, what was mine in all of this? Not what you pretended to feel, but maybe what you actually experienced.
Absolutely. Owning it doesn't mean fixing it all in one breath. It just means getting honest about what cost you something, what didn't feel right, and where you might have betrayed your own needs just to keep the peace one more time.
Okay, so now that we peel back the layers a bit, there is some good news. That weird off feeling, it's not failure, it's a signal. And signals are really useful.
Absolutely, they're useful. That feeling is your system talking to you. It's like an emotional GPS, and it's, in that weird Siri voice saying, hey, you might have missed your turn back there. So let's reroute. I mean, that's not negative. It's navigational.
Yeah, some people like to be inspirational. We're like, no, we're going to be navigational.
Navigational.
But look, when you lean into that discomfort with intention and not shame, you start to hear what it's really trying to say. Maybe it's calling you back to rest, or asking you to speak up, or just reminding you to come back to yourself.
And this is where we coin it. Be intentional and ask yourself, what would bring me back to alignment? Not perfection, just alignment. What would it look like to end this weekend on my terms?
And it could be something small, just sort of a solo walk, a real conversation, or just turning your phone off for an hour and, just admitting like, hey, I need to take care of me today. That's not selfish. It's responsible.
And when you make even one of those moves, you change the nature of everything. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, and most importantly, meaningfully.
So if you're in the fog, like, don't freak out. You're not lost. You're just ready for a reset. Let's call a timeout here because I can already hear somebody thinking like, cool, you two, but what am I actually supposed to do?
And that's fair. So you know what? That sounds great, but I still got laundry to do from Thursday, and this emotional hangover that just smells like green bean casserole, and again, like that Cheeto breath from that kid we talked about.
But this is where we zoom out a little bit because it's not just about how we feel; it's about what we can do next. And we're not talking about that big overhaul. We're talking about one of those micro moves.
Indeed. You don't need to sage your house and, journal for 40 minutes to reset. I mean, you can, that might work, but sometimes it's as simple as just doing one thing that brings it all back around for you.
Yeah. Like asking yourself, like, what's the tiniest, most real thing that I could do today that says like, hey, I'm not ignoring myself.
It could be, like you said, turn your phone off. Don't answer that text right away. Actually choose what you want for dinner for once, maybe. Or putting your phone in a drawer and just sitting down without scrolling, without losing time on it. Just be with you.
Yeah. Those are all the little wins, the coins. You don't need a holiday to validate your peace. You just need to decide that you're worth checking in on, even after the party's over.
Well, and honestly, speaking of parties, we're not done. Thanksgiving's over. It's past, but the holiday train, man, it's still in full motion.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're rolling straight into December. The lights and the lists and the chaos and the carols. I mean, we've got a whole new round of expectations. But
Sure.
this time we've got a chance to maybe do a little bit different.
Well, and what if we walked into the rest of the season with what we've got left and we're already checked in? Not trying to fake the spirit, of the season or whatever, but actually choosing to be in that season kind of spirit, festive kind of mood. If we want to bring that with us, maybe we can choose that on the front end.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that could be peace, or it could be playfulness, or it could be stillness or connection. I mean, but whatever it is, it's definitely yours to define.
I do think it's important that we say out loud, you know what? You don't owe anyone a perfect December. You don't owe anyone a perfect holiday, but you do owe it to yourself. You owe yourself the chance to move through it with intention, but don't be obligated to everyone else. Move through this season intentionally for you.
Yeah. What do you want this season to actually feel like? Not on the Christmas card. What's your next little move?
Whether you're still washing dishes or just trying to dodge the next round of social obligations that are out there, and all the cards are coming in so that you have invitations on their way. Take this with you. The season ahead, it doesn't have to consume you. You can be part of it without it totally encompassing everything about you.
You know what? It could actually center you if you show up for yourself just a little bit more than you show up for the chaos.
Absolutely. And look, hey, if you're walking into December feeling a little foggy, again, you're not behind the curve. You're just being honest. And that's confirmation. That honesty, you're naming it. That's your starting line.
Yeah, and look, we're going to be right here every week, helping you to coin your way forward, one real, imperfect, but intentional step at a time.
Quick episode coming at you fast after the holidays. But look, if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might be feeling that same way, or if you know somebody that's dealing with that post-holiday kind of haze, well then send it to them. And also subscribe, leave a review. It helps more than you know.
I dig it.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out coinyourlife.com and find us on social media.